His rejection of the EU accord was a triumph for Russian President Vladimir Putin, who wants Ukraine realigned with the East, with Russia, and put up $15 billion to reinforce a Ukrainian-Russia trade deal. This was a setback for Ukrainian nationalists who want to integrate into the West, with Europe and the EU, where Ukrainians see more lucrative and reliable gains. Last month, U.S. Senators John McCain and Chris Murphy appeared before a crowd of 250,000 Ukrainians to express their solidarity with the Western-leaning protesters. The demonstration escalated this month when Ukrainian riot police attacked protesters, injuring scores and killing six. Across the country, demonstrators have seized government buildings, including in Yanukovych's political base in eastern Ukraine. In many cases, the authorities have handed over the buildings to the protesters, declaring their allegiance with the people. The protesters demanding President Yanukovych's resignation and new elections. To appease the protesters, President Yanukovych has repealed anti-protest laws, offered amnesty to demonstrators, and sacked his pro-Russian Prime Minister, Mykola Azarov. But so far, Yanukovych himself refuses to step down. In his Tuesday State of the Union speech, President Obama affirmed the right of the Ukrainian people to have their voices heard. But he limited notice of the attempted coup to one line. On Wednesday, Obama aides told congressional aides they are readying sanctions to be used against Ukrainian officials and, if necessary, against protest leaders. On Thursday, President Yanukovych removes himself from the situation, citing sick leave. Question: John Kerry is meeting with the anti-Yanukovych Ukrainian opposition in Munich now. What's the plan, Pat Buchanan?
Well, clearly it looks like we want to get Mr. Yanukovych out of there, but he's a democratically elected president. What is going on in the Ukraine now is what went on in Cairo, with the military coming in there and throwing out Mohamed Morsi because the crowds got together in the streets. The United States ought not to be involving itself in this quarrel, John. It is an economic quarrel between Russia, which wants its own Russified common market and the Ukraine in it, and the EU. And Putin made a very tough offer and a strong offer, $15 billion, and he got the Ukrainians to side with him. But for heaven's sake, for the United States to get in the middle of an operation where a democratic government is about to be overthrown would be an absurdity for us.
What do you think of that?
Kerry is there discussing, and so is Catherine Ashton, who is the foreign representative for the EU. And Putin said this is like if he had sent an envoy to Greece when the Europeans were having their difficulties. So he really sees this as his Monroe Doctrine. He really doesn't think that Europe or the U.S. has any business meddling. And Kerry basically said, I guess it was Friday, that Mr. Putin shouldn't worry, that we just are on the side of having peaceful demonstrations there. And basically that's the point they're making. Don't crack down in a bloody way on these protesters, which is what Senator McCain said as well. I don't see the administration necessarily in there pushing for regime change.
It was very bloody in Kiev. Obama's afraid that if he alienates Putin over Ukraine, he's going to regret it because he needs Putin in Iran.
Well, but Putin's
You follow me? And he needs Putin in Syria.
I do, but Putin's going to do what's in his best interest. He's not going to pull out of negotiations in Iran because he's upset over U.S. what he thinks meddling here. And he's got some other things on his mind. The Olympics are coming up in Sochi, so I think he's a little preoccupied with keeping his country safe.
What do you think, Mark?
Look, I think this is a Putin gambit, okay, what's happened with Yanukovych. Yanukovych all of a sudden became sick when he was supposed to be meeting with the Democrats or the Democratic representatives in Ukraine. Ukraine has always been seen by the Russians as basically a wholly owned subsidiary of the Soviet Union. This goes back many, many, many years. And this is still the way that Putin does it. Putin, frankly, outsmarted everybody. He got Yanukovych basically doing what he wants him to do, and he is going to continue to do that, and we are not going to be able to move either Putin or Yanukovych.
Yeah, but there's a momentum in the streets there that looks like it's going to be very hard to stop.
Okay, take a look at the top members of the Ukrainian opposition. Their brothers Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko. both of whom are world heavyweight boxing champions. And one of them, particularly one of them, wants to become the president of Ukraine.
He's very popular.
Well, he's very
He
popular,
probably
but
is, yeah.
he's ahead of his party, but he's a very powerful, tough street demonstrator, and he's a popular guy. I mean, look, the United States is supposed to support democratic elected governments. The guys, even when they do badly, you wait for the next election, throw them out.
Yeah.
These guys, there's three parties over there, they want to overthrow this government and have a battle inside. John, there's a real danger here that this Ukraine could break apart. Part of it is Russified in the east, which is Russian language and culturally Russian. In the far west, that's part of the Habsburg Empire. And they're Catholic out there, and they're westernized, and they want to go with the European Union. But you overthrow this government and get a new crowd in there, you could have a Ukraine break apart.
I think that is an issue, but you can't just give a blank check to the leader
It's not our
to.
problem, Eleanor.
Well, they're just going over there and talking along with the European Union. I don't think we're not sending in troops or
Tell
anything.
Kerry to go talk to his Iranian friends.
You know that Putin went over there and offered them $15 billion.
15 billion he bought.
To avoid going towards the EU, which a lot of the country wants to move in that direction,
John,
and to go to Russia.
Yeah,
Kievan Rus, that's the origins of the Russian
Well,
Orthodox churches, Kievan Rus.
Yeah,
Ties there don't go back just decades,
Yeah, but-
they go back centuries.
Yeah, but they see their future with the West
A lot of them
culturally and
do.
commercially. They want to go with the European Union, and
What's
basically,
Obama's
Putin
problem
is
with
bribing them to stay temporarily with him.
problem or dilemma arising from Ukraine?
He's got very few cards to play. Nobody believes that he's gonna do anything serious about what they want. Not in terms, he's gonna speak well, and he will speak out on behalf of
Well, who does
democracy.
he really need? He really needs Putin.
Yeah, he's not gonna
And he
get
doesn't
Putin.
want to do anything to annoy Putin. Because
That's
he
right.
needs Putin in Iran, he
That's
needs Putin
right.
in Syria.
That's
Correct?
right, that's correct, you're absolutely right.
Well, he
And-
already has
and-
very little leverage with Putin. I mean,
Yes.
look how Putin treats us. He's got Snowden and permanent asylum over there, and Putin is the big issue here, and that's why I think that you're
That's
not
right.
going to see the United States do anything very serious.
Putin's holding back now, John, because of the Sochi Olympics, so I'd wait for them to be
Yeah, that's
over.
exactly right.
Yeah, we'll be right back with predictions.